I decided to bring forth this video because I think it's something that needs to be said and it needs to be talked about and is not being said and is not being talked about enough. What I am going to say in this video, it may ruffle some feathers, but I'm a Sagittarius. I don't give a damn about feathers. Um, I say what I want to say. Don't like it, don't give a shit. Um, as I said, what I am about to say in this video is something that I think needs to be said and it needs to be talked about. But it's not talked about enough because I feel people are afraid to talk about it, because if they talk about it in the way that I am about to talk about it, they'll be labeled as racist. But just as I said, call me racist, call me whatever you like. I don't care. Ever since I was a teenager, I have been a lover of Irish culture. The majority of the songs that I listened to were Celtic songs. I loved everything about Irish people and their culture. Now, I say that with me saying this: I am black. My mama was black. My daddy was black. Well, my mama is black. She's still alive. My daddy was black. Grandparents were black. Black aunts and uncles. Same color as Taraji P. Henson, maybe a tad bit darker. Grew up in the projects. I am black, okay? But as a teenager, I thoroughly loved the Irish people and their culture. It was always a culture that I felt a kinship with. I don't know why. I have no idea. Maybe in some past life I was Irish. I don't know. But I have always felt a kinship with Irish people and their culture. I thought it was beautiful and magical and just something so sacred, you know. And but I, on the flip side, I was a teenager, so I loved all of the external things about Irish people and their culture. I didn't know really anything about the internal things. Then director Ryan Coogler, he came out with this film called Sinners. It was a film that told about black culture and the story of, you know, black people. But it had a sprinkling of Irish culture in it, and I do mean a sprinkling. And that sprinkling came from one of the characters in the film named Remick, played by British actor Jack O'Connell. Now, I thought Jack O'Connell did a tremendously great job. However, it would have been nice to have a Irish actor play that role, since Remick was an Irish character. But, it is what it is. Jack O'Connell knocked it out of the park anyway. Did a damn good job. So I saw that film and it ignited my interest in wanting to know the internal culture of Irish people. So I began looking at website articles to learn more about Irish history and Irish people, and I was finding a few things. And a lot of the things I was finding was that there was this potato incident that happened. And I mean, one website just said it exactly like this potato incident that happened and left a lot of Irish people starving but they persevered and that was it. They marched on and survived, and that was it. And then I found a few articles that talked about what the Irish went through in history, but they talked about it in regards to the Irish being indentured servants, not really going through too much. Okay. Well, then I happened to come across this film, and this film is called Black 47. It was made in 2018, and the film was set during the Great Famine that the Irish people went through. And the plot of the film is that there's this Irish ranger who deserts the British Army to return home. And upon returning home, he finds his family destroyed by the British Europeans. And as such, he begins a campaign of revenge against those responsible. And I saw this film today for the first time ever. I watched it from beginning to end, and I have to say, there is no way in hell you can watch this film and not emotionally break down. I did, not once, not twice, but three times. Yes, I did. This film showed absolutely what the Irish went through at the hands of the British, the Europeans. And what they went through made no damn sense. And when I say it didn't make any sense, I'm not saying that in the sense that, oh, it's, you know, unbelievable, it didn't happen. I mean, it didn't make any sense because what they went through was horrible. It made no sense why the British would put them through that, except for the reason that the British were evil, were the most evil people in existence, which is the reason why they sent the Irish through what they sent the Irish through. Um, After watching that film, I began to look deeper, and I mean hours of deep research. And that's when I found the real information about the Irish that backed up what I saw in the film Black 37. And after I found out the real information that backed up what I saw in Black 47, I'm telling you, I had to take some time to meditate because after reading what I read and watching the videos that I watched after watching the film, um, ooh, the hatred that I began to feel for British people and European people for what they did to the Irish. And I mean, I'm not even Irish, I'm black. But I began to, oh, the hatred, something else. So I had to take a step back and bring my vibrational frequency back to where it needed to be, which is a place of calm and non hate. But I will say this after learning what I learned today about what the Irish went through from the film Black 47 and from the many videos and articles that I saw, I will say I have now the utmost highest respect for Irish people. They have my absolute respect and honor. And the reason why is because those people went through hell. They went through absolute hell. And they went through this hell and still came out today to be so strong and so resilient. And not only strong and resilient, I have heard of numerous stories of people who aren't Irish, who aren't from Ireland, who don't live in Ireland, but they have gone over there and they have been treated like family. And they have said, oh, the Irish people, they are so nice, they're so friendly, they're so welcoming. The fact that they can be that way after everything they went through, these people I have the highest respect for. I absolutely love all of them. I don't know all of them, but every single Irish person who has lived and who continues to live, absolute respect and love and honor. Because what I discovered that you all went through, wow. Now, I will say you didn't go through as much as what my people went through, black people. No. But you know what? You went through hell all the same. But I keep seeing people say, they were never slaves. Irish people were never slaves. They were never on any ships. Um, I'm telling you right now, that's bullshit. That's right, I said it. That's bullshit. I do not give a shit what any historian says. Excuse my language, fuck the historians. I don't care what they say. And the reason why I don't care what they say, and the reason why I do believe that the Irish were on slave ships, the Irish were slaves, is because his story, his story, from his story, people were made to believe that J. Edgar Hoover was white. People believed that for so many decades. J. Edgar Hoover was white. J. Edgar Hoover was white. J. Edgar Hoover was white. That fuck was not white. He was black. J. Edgar Hoover was a black man who didn't want to be us any longer because he felt if he remained being us, he would never get anywhere. So he passed as white and treated black people like shit. But to this day, his story has J. Edgar Hoover as a white man. And many people believe his story that tells that J. Edgar Hoover was white. The many other stories. There are so many people in power of old who people believe were white when they weren't. They were black, but they passed as white. And his story told the story over and over and over again, including in the history books, that these people were white when they weren't. The lies surrounding John Wilkes Booth that his story continues to tell, that people continue to believe. So, if his story can make up lies about J. Edgar Hoover and John Wilkes Booth and so many others, Lincoln, what makes people believe that his story will not make up lies about the Irish and what they went through? The story that his story tells is that the Irish were indentured servants. They weren't slaves. And they were only indentured servants for maybe 2 or 3 years, and then that's it. Then they were off to go and sing Celtic jigs and all of that, and all of this bullshit. That is bullshit. And I will show you a video at the end of this video that shows you that is bullshit. The Irish were on slave ships. The Irish were made to be made to do forced slavery. So why did his story say that they were indentured servants? Because it pretties it up. If you think that all they went through was just indentured servitude, well, then you'll think, oh, that's not that bad. Oh, please, get over it. You didn't go through anything. All you were indentured servants. Get over it. It pretties it up. It doesn't make the British and the Europeans look so much like the bad guys. That is a slap in the face to all of those who were slaves, who were Irish. I am telling you right now, that story is bullshit. They were slaves. They were on slave ships. They were forced to do slave work for numerous years. But to pretty it up, they changed it to indentured servants. Bullshit. This is what they do, though, to make themselves look good and to make those like the Irish look bad. Then you have those who celebrate St. Patrick's Day. Yep, they celebrate St. Patrick's Day. And how they celebrate it, those who are not Irish. Now, I'm not talking about those who are Irish, but those who are not Irish, how they celebrate it is they go out and they drink and they party and they have their little shamrocks, all of these things. They may go to an Irish pub and all of that, and that's them celebrating St. Patrick's Day. Or they'll have their green on, all of that. And it's just for one day. And then after that one day, they go back. These are the ones who are not Irish. They'll go back to living life as usual, forgetting all about Irish, Irish this and Irish that. Not realizing that the whole fucking month is designated as Irish American Heritage Month. Not just one day, the whole fucking month. But no one pays attention to that because who cares? We just like the part where you can drink and wear green and have the shamrocks and all of that shit. That's all the part that we like. That's it. We don't want to go deeper into the culture and the heritage of the Irish people. We just want to get drunk. We just want to wear green. We just want to wear these silly ass shirts to say, pinch me, I'm Irish, and knowing damn well you're not. That is sad. And that is something that needs to be changed because, and I'm not comparing, I'm not trying to put a, pit one against the other. But when it comes time for Black History Month, you don't see that. Now, I'm not talking about the white people who are racist. No. I'm talking about the white people who are not racist. You don't see them do that when it comes to Black History Month. When it comes to Black History Month, all the white people who are not racist, that's their month too. Because, hey, I'm white, but I'm black on the inside. And they take it seriously. I've seen some white people who actually take Black History Month very seriously, posting things every single day of the month. But now March comes around and it's the month for the Irish. Fuck that, it's just one day. And that day is just to get fucked up with alcohol and wearing green. But do you know the history of the Irish? Do you really know what they went through? Do you know the starvation tales? Do you know how the children were murdered and the mothers and the fathers and the sisters and the brothers and the aunts and the uncles? Do you know that? Do you know about the famine that they went through? Everything. No, because the only thing you know is that you're going to go get fucked up on the 17th and you're going to wear green and all of that. That's the important part. But no one takes the time during the entire month to learn the history. And yes, that bothers me. And here I'm not even black, and it bothers me because I think it's wrong. Because if you know their history, then you will respect them even more. Because let's be honest, you have some people who respect them, but a lot of them don't. Because if you did, where are all the numerous films about what they went through? I only found 4 films that really talk about, show what they went through. 4, just 4. I'm not talking about the documentaries, I'm talking about the feature cinematic films. 4. And again, I'm not trying to pit one against the other, but I can name on my fingers and my toes the many films about Native Americans. I can name on my fingers and my toes the many films about the Jews. And I can damn sure name on my fingers and my toes and my mama's fingers and toes and my aunt and uncle's fingers and toes the many films about my people, black people. But the Irish only have 4. Because ain't nobody got time to hear that boring ass story of famine, of murder, of people who did nothing wrong. No, that's boring. We don't got time for that shit. But on the 17th, we have time for it because we're going to have time for it in the way of going out and getting drunk and wearing green. That is totally wrong. And I never could understand how wrong it was until today. There needs to be more films showing what these people went through and what they are still going through because of what happened years ago. I want to see more than 4 films. I want to see 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 15 films. This film, Black 47, should be shown in schools this month. But it won't, no. Nobody gives a shit. Every school in America should be showing this film to school students this month. It should be watched so people can know the history. Just like in some schools, During Black History Month, they show films about Dr. Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, the many others, Medgar Evers. The same thing with Jews, the same thing with Native Americans. Why not them? They are just as important because of what they went through. This is what I would like to see. I would like to see filmmakers actually bring the story of the Irish to films. And not just films over in Ireland, but here in America too. So people in America can see what these people went through. And if they see what they went through, they will understand why these people today are so strong and so resilient. They will see why they are the beautiful people that they are today. See, you can't understand them today if you don't know where they've been. But I doubt if I'll see any other films made about their story because no one cares about their story. To them, it's boring. And that's what is sad. Want to end with this. I give ultimate kudos to Irish people for what they have gone through. And even today, what they continue to go through, because over there in Ireland, their country is being taken over. You know, the only damn country they have, and it's still being taken over by a bunch of migrants coming over there trying to take over every damn thing. They're still going through it. And even though they're still going through it, they're still remaining strong, still remaining resilient. They're still keeping their culture alive. And then I will say this, and again, I don't care if you don't like it. You have some who will go over there to their country and try to change it into what they want it to be. Don't do that, people. Don't do that. Don't go over there and decide to turn it into, and Italy, France, Scotland. Don't go over there and try to turn it into Africa. Don't go over there and try to turn it into, New York. Don't do that. Because you wouldn't want them to come to New York. You wouldn't want them to come to Africa. You wouldn't want them to come to France. You wouldn't want them to come to Italy. You wouldn't want them to come anywhere else where you are and just totally bring what their culture is over there and just totally override what the culture is where you are. You wouldn't want that. So don't do that. And I've seen videos of people doing that. People going over there, going to sacred sites, and on the land of the sacred sites, they're doing the boots on the ground. People, come on. Have some fucking respect. Just like you would want them to have respect for your landmarks. Have some respect for their landmarks. I see people going to sacred landmarks over there, having barbecues, cookouts. Stop this shit. Stop it. You all are the ones, and I'm not just talking about those who look like me. I'm talking about Spanish people. I'm talking about Italian people. I'm talking about everyone who does this. You're the main ones talking about racism has to stop. Racism has to stop. But you're doing racism every time you do things like that. And I have seen videos of people doing that. Stop taking their dances and twerking during their dances. That is not what those dances are about. They're not for you to be doing half twerking and half Irish dancing. That's not what that's about. What you're doing is you're taking the sacredness out of those dances. Just like there are those who are my people. And if a white person or an Irish person, Italian person, French person, they were to start doing our sacred dances, and they're doing our sacred dances all wrong, we would be livid because those dances are sacred. We're just like our dances are sacred. Damn it, so are theirs. If you're going to do it right. Not with the twerking, not with all of that. And I've seen videos of people doing Irish dances while twerking. That is, no. You see, because they have no respect. Oh, fuck these Irish people. I don't give a damn. This has to stop. And someone has to say something about it, but people are afraid because, hey, I'll be labeled as racist. Well, I'm not afraid. And I'm not even I'm not even Irish and I'm saying this. I'm not afraid. It has to be said. We have to start showing respect for one another and for other people's cultures. If you're going to celebrate St. Patrick's Day, don't just celebrate it one day. Celebrate it every day by learning about the culture that you're celebrating on the 17th. Don't use these people for your own personal gain and then toss them aside. Don't do that, because then that makes you no better than the oppressor. And for universe sake, someone out there, make some other films, some more films that showcases these stories of their history. I am sure there are so many heroes of Irish culture, during the time of the Great Famine. People who did unbelievably amazing, powerful things. I want to see films about that, not films about two hot and horny people in some film called some fucking Wuthering Heights. I don't want to see that shit. I want to see a film that really teaches me about the people who went through shit and survived. So this is what I wanted to say. And again, it's going to ruffle feathers. I don't give a shit. You can call me sellout. You can call me a Oreo. You can call me a racist. Fuck you. And I am saying that outright. Fuck you. I don't care what you call me. Right is right and wrong is wrong. So this is what I wanted to say. Once again, I give my ultimate kudos, respect, and honor to every Irish man, woman, boy, and girl. You all are strong. I'm telling you, Beyonce song Survivor, you all are it. You really are. You're amazing people. And your culture is beautiful and it is sacred and it should be respected and it should be honored. Just like our culture, Black culture, is a culture that should be respected and should be honored, and it is beautiful as well. But damn it, so is yours. So this is what I wanted to say. I thank you all for listening. This is P.S. Montgomery. Until next time.
Irish people were the first slaves in America, and nobody talks about it. Our ancestors were ripped from their homes in Ireland, shackled, and sold for less than African slaves in the 1600s. They were called white cargo and treated as disposable workers. Over 300,000 Irish were shipped to the Caribbean and American colonies. They worked sugar plantations alongside African slaves, died from disease and brutality. The difference: this history was erased. No reparations, no memorials, no recognition. Books even changed Irish slaves to indentured servants to minimize what happened. The word redneck actually comes from Irish workers whose skin burned in the Caribbean sun. This forgotten chapter of history shows how oppression knows no color